Welcome back everyone to PlanetSide 2. Now, just before I start off, I want to apologise for the sound quality of the static in the background, but I've done the push to talk sort of thing now, so when I'm not talking, we won't have the static constantly. Anyway, yeah, let's jump in. Here we are, Jason is Savvy, on NC's server, the NC obviously. I put it in on Amrish. This is my last server. I might get some headsets before we start, so yeah. Okay, welcome to the guide to flying on PlanetSide 2. This will be an NC new conglomerate guide. I'm here in Amrish. I have a little bit of issues with the map at the moment. It's been very laggy, but once again, as you can see, that's conquered by the Family Sovereignty. That's not good. That must have happened yesterday, but as you can see, we own most of the map now. I'm going to go through all the aircraft you can get for the NC, the different things that are available. Now, as you can see, I've done some station caching, getting some cool camo for this. This is the Reaver. This is the faction aircraft, which is just for the NC. Now, the equivalent for that would be the Mosquito, which is just on the right there. That's the fastest of the three, but is not very beefy and doesn't pack a punch. Then you've got the Van of Sovereignty on the left again, and this one here is very good hull and maneuverabilities, but obviously the weapons aren't so good and isn't very speedy. This is the Reaver. The weapons do pack a punch, but it's not as speedy as the Mosquito. So you've got an overall, if you want to pack a punch, you can always get utilities and stuff, which I found at the bottom here to make these aircraft faster. If we look at the utility, this is the utility slot. If we go to the certs, this will show us all the utilities we can have. I've got scout radar equipped at the moment, so this is a great one for the beginners. I'd go for this. This one will scout enemy aircraft blah, 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 in the area, which is very useful if you're in a dogfight, so you don't have to spot them every second. This is decoy flares. These are also useful if you're getting locked on. I find with the Reaver though, you can get away from the lock if you just fly in a straight line. Ejection system, you press E and you won't take full damage. You will, and you won't inherit the vehicle's momentum, as it says here. Fire suppression system, I never use this. I don't see much point. I would go for the scout radar and the decoy flares for a starter. So here we go. The Reaver. We're going to go for. We've done the utilities. So my number one utility I go for the first is the scout radar. It's excellent. Then we need to get a passive system. Now the only passive system at the moment is an acquisition timer, which slows down the time in between each spawn. Once you spawn the Reaver, you'll get a timer which will tick down, and you can't spawn another one even if you have the amount of resources needed until that timer's ticked down. Passive acquisition timer will reduce the timer, basically. Defense slot, here you've got all the defense things, as you can tell. Composite armor will reduce damage from flak. I would normally, if you're going to be a Liberator pilot, I'd go for that. I've got a second flak. As you can see there, the panels there, these are very useful because the turrets on the bases are quite annoying. If you go to performance slots, we've got the dogfight airframe. This is very useful if you're in dogfights. This will streamline your Reaver's performance in favour of dogfight manoeuvres. So that's very good. Harbour manoeuvrability, not that much. If you're going to be an air to ground, I would get this. It's very useful. And a race at high speed, so this basically tops the high speed, which is useful again. So, top 5 tips for the certifications for the Reaver. Number 1, you're going to need the radar, utility. You're going to need the scout radar for the utility. For the defense slots, you're going to go for a composite nanite auto repair system. For the performance slots, you want to go for the dogfight airframe. Now that's my decision based on air to air. If you're going to be air to ground, here's the list once again. Utility slots, you're going to want, scout radar once again, which is useful. defense slots, you're going to need composite armor this time. This is from Flak, very useful. Performance slots, you want to need hover stability airframe. This will give you a nice hover while you're taking targets down. Now, we're going to go through the air-to-air weaponry for this aircraft. Now, I would go for the primary. You're going to need a vortex rotary. This gun, if I can, let me just preview. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the vortex rotary anyway. I'll look for it in the actual catalogue to show. Here we go. So this is the vortex rotary. If you're going to do an air-to-air, this is the best bet. Now this is a high-firing gun, which will basically take down air targets very effectively. As you can see, it is 250 certs, but it's well worth it when you get the chance to get it. So for air-to-air, you're going to need this. For your secondary, you're going to need this. These are the Reaver Tomcat A2AM pods. These are air-to-air. Basically what these do, these lock on to an enemy aircraft, and once you get the green rectangle around the aircraft, you fire, and these will actually follow the aircraft. So they're heat sensitive targets. Will follow the aircraft and destroy it to take a nice chunk out of the aircraft. So there's the list once again. You're going to need the primary, which is the Reaver Vortex Rotary, and you're going to need the Tomcat A2M pods with the utilities I've shown for the air-to-air. The ground, air-to-ground for the Reaver, you're going to need, first of all, I would go for, once again, you've got two choices. You've got the Reaver Vortex Rotary, which is good against anti-air, or the cheaper option, this is the Reaver M30 Mustang, which is a burst, like a shotgun, which is very good against ground targets, but not too good against air. So if you are getting chased by air and you want to get out of there quickly, you've got two choices here. You can either go full ground and get this and the secondary, which I'll show you in a minute, or you can go a Reaver Vortex Rotary, which is full ground with a secondary, which is very useful. And if you get caught up in a couple of air fights, you've got this to give you a nice little backup. Secondary, you're going to need the Reaver Breaker rocket pods. Now these are absolutely excellent. These fire a burst of rockets onto the ground, and these will take out a lot of targets very effectively. As you can see, they do cost a lot. These are 1,000 certs, which will take you a long time. This Friday there is a triple station cash deal, so if your triple station cash deal comes along, I'd recommend getting that, and you can get it instantly. So these are very good. There's a list once again for the air to ground. You can either go for the Reaver M30 Mustang full ground, or the more effective ground in my view is the Vortex Rotary and the Reaver Breaker rocket pods with the certs is well shown. Now then, let's go into appearance. Now obviously the appearance is the same for all vehicles. You can get ornaments. We go through the ornaments. These are, sorry, take the right one. These are little ornaments that can be shown in your cockpit or on the outside. They don't really do much of a point. If you want them, obviously they're there to buy. Camo. This is just purely for looking good. It doesn't really serve much purpose. I love camo, and it makes my Reaver look awesome. I went for the digital, it's not here because I bought it, but the digital camo. I'd go for this, single use urban forest. And you've got two types of camo. You've got the single use, which is can only be used in one vehicle at a time, or the unlimited, which can be used throughout any vehicle you want. Obviously they do cost much more. Let's go back to the screen again. Started off with afterburners, and these increase the ability to afterburn. If you do take these off and hit a secondary weapon, you will still get an afterburner, but obviously 80% less afterburner time. This is my stock Liberator at the moment, Reaver at the moment. I'm going to give you guys a little top tip in flying this guy. As you can see, the Reaver will not hover by itself. You've got to keep pressing the space, which is up and down. I'll just show you a couple of removers now in this warp gate, and then I'll explain how I did them. This is the afterburner. The afterburner, I'm going through the default keys here. The afterburner is done by holding shift. As you can see, you get that nice sound. Then if we go into the cockpit view, we have the controls in the front. You've got your kilometers an hour, 180. This will top about 270. Really, I can't remember actually with this. But the slowest of the three, I think, is the Vanu, but it's very manoeuvrable. So if you want to be manoeuvrable, you're not very good at flying, I'd go with the Scythe. But in my view, this is the best aircraft of the three because you do pack a punch and it's not too fast. And it'll hold up in a fight better than the other three. But it really does depend on what type of aircraft you fly. So, let's give it a go. We're going to now fly out of the warp gate. Now, you can use your arrow keys to do manoeuvres like this. Or, just...
leave the restricted area immediately.
Okay, there we go. Or, simply barrel roll like that. Now, as you can see, this is the Galaxy. We'll be covering this in the third episode of Airplanes How To PlanetSide. So as you can see, you can actually see my scout ray down the top there. This is the digital camo I have activated on this aircraft. It just makes it look good. It's great. Now then, controls. Up and down, space, and I've switched it to control, I think. I think it was another default before. My setup is space to thrust. We'll slow this down. Okay, so space is literally thrust up. Control is thrust down. Space, control. You've got the WASD keys which control the direction. So if you want to have a combination of both, so you press the W key which will send you forward. Hold down shift as well to give the afterburner. And to turn you really use your mouse. You can also flip it like this, but if you're starting to begin, I won't try these stunts. So yeah, you're using your mouse to turn. You can also turn with your mouse and then drag like so. So what I've done, I've just tilted my mouse to the direction and then pulled it. So it's like you're going to pull it upwards. You'll get a feel of it when you get in it. This is very useful. If you're going to do a sharp turn, you want to decrease your speed. Just press S and then turn. This will make you turn on a dime. It's excellent. Obviously, the faster you're going, the slower it's going to turn. As you can see like that. And this is the slow turn. Hope that cleared that up for you guys. One last thing I'm going to show. The A and the D keys, which are your rudder, will turn your ship like this. So if you're inside now, and you don't want to get too close, just press your D and your A keys and that'll move your mouse like that. Also remember, this does not have a good hover maneuverability, as do most three, except the Scythe, which is not too bad. You want to tap your spacebar if you want to keep in one direction. So let's aim at this tree. Let's pretend this is an enemy aircraft or a vehicle. We want to keep, you see the HUD in front of us, the 0 is stable. And basically what you want to do is keep pressing the spacebar to keep yourself hovering and tilt forwards. Left mouse activates the primary. Right mouse does nothing, I don't think. Would zoom, yeah. Right mouse would zoom if you do have a certification on the weapon. Switch to the secondary, you scroll your mouse wheel or press 2. As you can see, on the left, on the top left screen, you've got the 50 out of 524. That's the amount of ammo I have in my primary. Above that, you've got the afterburner. On the left, on the right, top screen, you've got 00/000. That means there's no primary in there at the moment, so it's not picking anything up. But I did have a secondary, sorry, not primary. It would show the ammo there. So that shows the ammo there on the secondary. As you can see, the little rectangle is highlighted in the yellow. That would show, that shows what ammo is equipped with at the moment. Also, your reticle, your crosshair, sorry, does just change according to the weapon you have. So if it's an anti-ground, it will go like a square instead of a point. Hope that's been a good guide for you guys. I'm just going to go in for landing now to show you the last bit of landing a Reaver. Now the Reaver is not that is the hardest of the dogfighter. Sorry, is the hardest of the 3 to land. Let's say we're going in for a quick landing now. So, sorry. We want to land on this helipad, so we're going to keep the W up. Now I press T to switch into third person, and you're going to keep the speed up. When you get over it, press S and whatever your down thrust is, but don't slam too hard. In Wargate, you do not take any damage, as I will show here. I'm going to slam into the ground, it doesn't do anything, which is great, because this is your Wargate, and this is where you start off in the game. So we're going to come in for the helipad once again. Press X. Oh, that bit of frames there, sorry about that. So let's do another pass because of that lag. Okay, here we go. We're coming up for landing now. Press S, slow, slow, slow. And control for this one. Control, you don't want to land too hard, so keep tapping the spacebar to have it a nice landing. Press E to get out, and if you're an engineer, you can simply press to your third one, which will, what do you call it, repair your vehicle. That's the complete how-to guide of the Reaver aircraft. I hope you enjoyed that little tutorial. Please comment if you want any more of these videos shown in the future, and as always, thank you for watching. Goodbye.